a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Donald Glover. Donald McKinley Glover Jr. is an American actor, comedian, singer, writer, producer, director, rapper, and DJ. He performs music under the stage name Childish Gambino and as a DJ under the name mcDJ. After coming to public attention for his work with Derrick Comedy while a student at New York University, he was hired at age 23 by Tina Fey as a writer for the NBC sitcom 30 Rock. He later portrayed community college student Troy Barnes on the NBC sitcom Community. He stars in the FX series Atlanta, which he created and occasionally directs. For his work on Atlanta, Glover won various accolades, including Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series and Outstanding Directing for a Comedy Series, and Golden Globe Awards for Best Television Series Musical or Comedy, and Best Actor Television Series Musical or Comedy. In film, Glover has appeared in Mystery Team, The Lazarus Effect, Magic Mike XXL, The Martian, Spider-Man, Homecoming as Aaron Davis, and as the young Lando Calrissian in Solo, A Star Wars Story. He will also provide the voice of Simba in a remake of the Disney film The Lion King. After several self-released albums and mixtapes, Glover signed to Glass Note Records in 2011. He released his first album, Camp, on November 15, 2011, to generally positive reviews. His second studio album, Because the Internet, was released on December 10, 2013. Glover's third album, Awaken, My Love, was released on December 2, 2016, spawning the single, Redbone, which peaked at number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, and eventually earned him a Grammy Award for Best Traditional R&B Performance. In 2017, Glover was included on the annual Time 100 list of the most influential people in the world. In 2018, Glover released the song and video for This Is America, which debuted at number 1 on the Hot 100. Soon after, his EP Summer Pack was released in early July 2018. Early life. Donald McKinley Glover Jr. was born on September 25, 1983 at Edwards Air Force Base in Kern County, California. He was raised in Stone Mountain, Georgia. His mother, Beverly, is a retired daycare provider, and his father, Donald Glover Sr. is a retired postal worker. His parents also served as foster parents for 14 years. Glover was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. He attended DeKalb School of the Arts and was captioned, most likely to write for The Simpsons, in his high school yearbook. Glover graduated from the New York University Tisch School of the Arts with a degree in dramatic writing. While at Tisch, Glover self-produced the independent mixtape The Younger I Get, which was not released and was disowned by Glover for being too raw ramblings of what he calls a decrepit Drake. Glover also began disc jockeying and producing electronic music under the moniker MCD, later as mcDJ, remixing Sufjan Stevens' album Illinois. 2006, 2010, Derrick Comedy, Community, and mixtapes. In 2006, Glover was contacted by producer David Miner, to whom he sent writing samples including a spec script that he had written for The Simpsons. Miner and Tina Fey were impressed by Glover's work and invited him to become a writer for the NBC sitcom 30 Rock. Glover was a writer for 30 Rock from 2006 to 2009, where he also had occasional cameo appearances. He was presented the Writers Guild of America Award for Best Comedy Series at the February 2009 ceremony for his work on the third season. Glover's musical stage name, Childish Gambino, came from the Wu-Tang Clan's name generator. In June 2008, he released the independent mixtape Sick Boy. In 2008, Glover unsuccessfully auditioned to play President Barack Obama on the sketch comedy program Saturday Night Live. The role went to cast member Fred Armisen. Glover also became a member of the sketch comedy group Derrick Comedy, having appeared in their sketches on YouTube since 2006, along with Dominic Zirks, Maggie McFadden, D.C. Pearson, and Dan Ekman. The group wrote and starred in a feature-length film, Mystery Team, released in theaters in 2009. Bobby Moynihan and Aubrey Plaza also starred in the film alongside Glover. Glover became known to a wider audience with Dan Harmon's NBC sitcom Community, which premiered in September 2009. Glover played Troy Barnes, a former high school star quarterback who quickly abandons his former jock mentality and embraces his nerdy, childish side as the result of his friendship with Abed Nadir. Glover did not return as a full-time cast member for the show's 5th season, appearing in the first 5 of the season's 13 episodes. Despite speculation that he was leaving to pursue his rap career as Childish Gambino, a series of handwritten notes that Glover posted to Instagram revealed that his reasons were more personal, citing a need for projects that offered him more independence as he worked through some personal issues. Although Harmon approached Glover about returning to the show for its 6th season, Glover declined, stating both show and audience would be better served by the closure of his character omitted from the story. In September 2009, he released his second mixtape Poindexter. A pair of mixtapes, titled I Am Just a Rapper and I Am Just a Rapper 2, were released in close succession in 2010, and followed that July by his 5th mixtape Cul-de-sac. In March 2010, Glover performed a 30-minute set on the stand-up showcase program Comedy Central Presents. In May 2010, a fan suggested Glover for the role of Peter Parker in the then-upcoming The Amazing Spider-Man film, encouraging his supporters to retweet the hashtag #OnAld4Spider-Man. The campaign, originally started to see how far social networking could carry a message, quickly gained a large following. The call for Glover to be allowed to audition for the role was supported by Spider-Man creator Stan Lee. Glover was not given an audition and the role instead went to Andrew Garfield. He later revealed that he was never contacted for the role by anyone from Sony Pictures. Comics writer Brian Michael Bendis, who announced Miles Morales, an African-American version of Spider-Man, a year later, said he had conceived of the character before Glover's campaign went viral. Bendis gave credit to Glover for influencing the new hero's looks for Spider-Man. Bendis has said, "I saw him in the costume on Community and thought, I would like to read that book." Glover later voiced this incarnation of Spider-Man on the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series. Glover received the Rising Comedy Star Award at the Just for Laughs Festival in July 2010, and was featured in Gap's 2010 holiday advertising campaign 2011-2014, Camp and Because the Internet. His first extended play, titled EP, was released as a free digital download in March 2011. A music video for the song, Freaks and Geeks, was released in that month and Glover hosted the MTV Woody Awards, held live at South by Southwest. Glover commenced his nationwide I Am Donald tour in April. The tour was a one-man live show that consisted of rap, comedy, and video segments. Glover appeared at the 2011 Bonnaroo Music Festival as both Childish Gambino and as a comedian, performing a set with Bill Bailey. His one-hour stand-up special, Weirdo, aired on Comedy Central in November 2011. Glover worked with friend and film composer Ludwig Göransson on his debut studio album throughout 2011. Prior to its release, signed to Glassnote Records and embarked on the Sign Up tour. The album, Camp, was released on November 15, 2011, backed by his debut single, Bonfire, and Heartbeat, which peaked at number 18 on the Bubbling Under Hot 100 singles and number 54 on Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs. Camp debuted at number 11 on the Billboard 200, selling 52,000 copies in the first week, and was generally well received by critics, with Pop Matters writer Steve Lepore finding it to be undoubtedly one of the best records of any genre to come out in 2011. His Camp Gambino tour was scheduled to commence in March 2012, but was postponed to April after fracturing his foot. Glover released the songs, Eat Your Vegetables, and Fuck Your Blog, through his website in April and May. Throughout May and June, he premiered tracks from his 6th mixtape, Royalty, which was released as a free digital download in July. The album featured several artists, including his brother Steven, under the alias Steve G. Lover 3. The single, Trouble, by British artist Leona Lewis from her album Glass Heart featured Gambino with a guest rap performance. The song peaked at number 7 on the UK singles chart, making it his first UK top 10 single. In November 2012, Ludwig Göransson said he and Glover were in his studio coming up with new ideas for the next album, which was to be bigger and with more people involved. In 2013, Glover signed on to create a music-themed show for FX titled Atlanta, which he would star in, write, and executive produce. Consequently, Glover decided to reduce his work for NBC and only appeared in the first 5 episodes of Community's 5th season. Although several networks were interested in picking up his half-hour comedy, he ultimately picked FX due to their willingness to work around his touring schedule. Glover appeared in a supporting role in the romantic comedy The To-Do List, and also guest-starred in 2 episodes of the comedy-drama television series Girls in early 2013, as a Republican who is the love interest to Lena Dunham's character. Recording for his second studio album, Because the Internet, finished in October 2013 and it was released in December, debuting at number 7 on the Billboard 200 chart. Because the Internet yielded the singles 3005, Crawl, and Sweatpants. 3005 peaked at number 8 on the UK R&B chart and 64 on the Billboard Hot 100. To promote the album, the short film Clapping for the Wrong Reasons, written by and starring Glover, was released prior to the album's release, and serves as its prelude. Additionally, a 72-page screenplay designed to sync up with the album was also released. Because the Internet has been certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America for shipping over 500,000 copies. From February to May 2014, he embarked on the Deep Web Tour. The Recording Industry Association of America certified Heartbeat Gold in June 2014, making it Glover's first gold certification. Glover directed the music video for the song The Pressure by Jhené Aiko, whose previous single, Bed Peace, had featured a guest appearance by Glover. On October 2, he released a mixtape titled Aston Mountain and the following day an EP titled Kauai, which spawned the single, Sober. While Aston Mountain was a free download, the proceeds of Kauai went to changing the policies for body-worn video policing equipment and to maintaining and preserving Kauai Island. Glover described them as a joint project and the first concept mixtape ever that continues the story told in camp and Because the Internet. At the 57th Annual Grammy Awards, Glover received his first Grammy nominations for Best Rap Album for Because the Internet and Best Rap Performance for 3005. 2015 present, film roles, Atlanta, and Awaken, My Love. Glover appeared in 3 films in 2015. In the science fiction horror The Lazarus Effect, he played a scientist working with a team of researchers who brings a member of the team back to life with consequences. Glover played a singer in the comedy drama Magic Mike XXL and performed a cover of the Bruno Mars song, Marry You, in the film, which was included in the soundtrack. His final release of the year, Ridley Scott's science fiction The Martian, featured Glover as a jet propulsion laboratory astrodynamicist who formulates a maneuver to help rescue an astronaut stranded on Mars. Glover contributed to the soundtrack of Creed, a film in the Rocky film series which was composed by Ludwig Göransson, providing vocals to the song Waiting for My Moment, and co-wrote another titled Breathe. FX ordered the pilot of Glover's show Atlanta to a 10-episode season in October 2015 and it premiered on September 6, 2016 to widespread critical acclaim. Glover writes, occasionally directs, executive produces, and stars in the series as Ernest Marks, a Princeton dropout who manages his rapper cousin as they navigate their way in the Atlanta rap scene. For his work on the show, Glover has been awarded various accolades, including Golden Globe Awards for Best Television Series Musical or Comedy and Best Actor Television Series Musical or Comedy, and Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series and Outstanding Directing for a Comedy Series, making him the first black person to win an Emmy for the latter category. Due to the success of the series, FX signed Glover to an exclusive deal to create and develop more shows for the network. The first of these shows, an animated series featuring the Marvel Comics character Deadpool, written and executive produced by Glover and his brother Steven, was set to premiere in 2018, but was later cancelled due to creative differences. Glover later posted an unofficial and unproduced script to his Twitter account, stating he wasn't too busy to work on Deadpool, shutting down media speculations. In September 2016, Glover held 3 performances known as the Pharos Experience, in Joshua Tree, California, where he debuted songs from his 3rd studio album, Awaken, My Love. The album was released in December, charting at number 5 on the Billboard 200, and it was later certified gold, accumulating 500,000 in album equivalent units. Considered a bold departure from his usual hip-hop style, as it primarily featured Glover singing rather than rapping. It saw him draw influences from psychedelic soul, funk and R&B music, particularly of the funk band Funkadelic. Awaken, My Love, produced the singles, Me and Your Mama, Redbone, and Terrified. Its vinyl release featured a virtual reality headset and an accompanying app that allowed owners access to virtual reality live performances from the Pharos Experience. The album was positively received by music critics and was nominated for both the 2018 Grammy Award for Album of the Year and Best Urban Contemporary Album, while Redbone won for Best Traditional R&B Performance and received nominations for Record of the Year and Best R&B Song. Glover performed Terrified at the award show's 60th ceremony. Glover played Aaron Davis in the superhero film Spider-Man: Homecoming. Davis is the uncle of the Miles Morales version of Spider-Man, whom Glover had voiced in the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series. The casting was described as a surprise treat for fans by the film's director John Watts, aware of his 2010 campaign to play the superhero. In April 2017, Time named Glover to its annual 100 Most Influential People in the World. Tina Fey wrote the entry on Glover, who she said embodies his generation's belief that people can be whatever they want and change what it is they want at any time. Glover portrayed a young version of Lando Calrissian in Solo, a Star Wars story. Calrissian was previously played by Billy Dee Williams in 2 films in the original Star Wars trilogy. Glover will star in the upcoming 2019 remake of the epic musical Disney film The Lion King as the voice of Simba, a young lion. Glover announced his intention to retire the Childish Gambino pseudonym in June 2017, telling the audience, "I'll see you for the last Gambino album," before walking off stage at the Governor's Ball Music Festival. He further explained his decision in an interview, feeling his musical career was no longer necessary, and added, "There's nothing worse than like a 3rd sequel. And I like it when something's good, and when it comes back, Terry's a reason to come back, Terry's a reason to do that." Glover signed with RCA Records in January 2018, which Glover called a necessary change of pace. In May 2018, he released a single titled This Is America, while performing dual hosting and musical duty on Saturday Night Live. The song debuted at number 1, becoming both Glover's first number 1 and top 10 single in the United States. It features him both singing and rapping, drawing influence from trap music. Its lyrics addressed a variety of topics, including gun violence in the United States and being black in the United States, while its provocative video, directed by Japanese filmmaker and frequent collaborator Hiro Murai, featured Glover performing a series of shootings before breaking into dance. On July 11, 2018, Glover released the EP Summer Pack, which contained the songs Summertime Magic and Feels Like Summer, the former of which is the lead single from Glover's forthcoming 4th studio album. The music video for Feels Like Summer was released on September 1, 2018, and features cartoon cameos from numerous prominent rappers and R&B vocalists. The video is meant to symbolize Glover's departure from the rap community and depicts his animated rendition as he walks down a neighborhood street, passing by several big names like Will Smith, Nicki Minaj, Travis Scott, Kanye West, Beyoncé, Lil Wayne, and Michael Jackson. In September 2018, Glover made 2 previously unreleased songs, Algorithm and All Night, exclusively available to fans who bought tickets to his upcoming This Is America tour. Influences. In an interview with The Guardian, Glover stated, "I'm influenced by LCD Sound System as much as Ghostface Killah. A lot of the rap shows I saw as a kid were boring, but if you went to a Rage Against the Machine show, Or a justice show, the kids were losing their minds. Kids just want to go nuts, Odd Future know that. People want to experience something physical. Glover also cites hip-hop duo Outkast and Three Amigos and funk band Funkadelic as being influences. Glover has also influenced a number of younger musicians and actors alike. Rapper Vince Staples talks of Glover's ability to constantly reinvent himself while actor. And writer Narain Weiss cites his versatility as a source of inspiration. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?